What's up, Vankahs?
Hello, Vankahs.
Hello, Wankos.
How
are we doing?
Yes.
Everyone keeps thinking, no, they're just doing one. No, they're just doing two. No. This is just keeping on going, baby. Guenther's just on. This is Vankah Hours with Guenther Steiner, not the Red Flags podcast.
Yes.
This is a whole other thing. Get it in your brains. Let that digest in your little bellies. That this is coming at you after every race.
Relentless, like Max Verstappen.
Like Max Verstappen. What a fucking week it is. We have so much to get to this week. This is turning out to be an amazing season, Guenther.
Yeah, but are you surprised? I mean, not surprised. I mean, we said it can get interesting. It was one of the coolest Grand Prix. It's a little bit like what we are doing here. You think everybody says we get tired of Max winning. They will get tired of us speaking, you know. So at some stage, but
no.
Well, all we do is win. We win.
We just win. Yeah. Okay. All right. We just keep on winning. Yeah.
So they might get tired of our success. That might happen.
But every now and again, I think just like Max Verstappen, we try to keep it like, oh, maybe, oh, look, oh, the internet's cutting out.
Yeah.
Look, oh, you have a chance.
We keep
We're
it
not
interesting.
going to dominate. We keep it interesting just like Max did.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just the inevitable Max Verstappen shined his little head back out again this week.
Just to remind everybody. What was your biggest takeaway?
How open it is in the moment, this championship. You don't know on Friday what's going to happen over the weekend. You know, look at Ferrari. I mean, they couldn't make it into Q3 out of the blue.
What happened there?
What the fuck happened there, Guenther? What happened with Ferrari?
What did your close personal friend Fred do wrong this weekend?
I think it's always easy to say somebody did wrong and somebody did right. I mean, you know, it's always from which side you see it. So I think what they got wrong is the prediction in the weather. I think in Q2 they put the last set of new tires that available on in the beginning, thinking that it will rain or hoping that it will rain. I think it was more thinking than hoping. Thinking it will rain, so we put the best time in when it's dry. And guess what? It didn't bloody rain. And then you have no new tires left. That's it.
Guenther, I have a question. This has been bothering me and Brian for years. It's a $1 billion industry, like cutting edge technology, right? And we see all you jackasses sticking your hand outside the fucking pit wall. Why can't you guys figure this out?
Because we are fucking stupid. And this is the move. This is the move. I mean, every time you do it, you know what you say on the radio? Let's do the stupid move. Let's see if it rains or not, and show everybody that. And you look like, yeah, it's raining. I mean, everybody sees it. I mean, you're right.
It's crazy.
No, it's madness, but you still do it. You think you have to do it?
Is it actually sometimes more reliable than the Doppler thing that you have going?
No. Because what you just feel, if it rains, it rains. You know, you cannot. What will happen? It's happening. Once you feel it, it's raining. I hope you understand that.
If you're feeling it, is it too late?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just like you need to make the move, you know, so you look in it, you know, but you have got all the information, but we all know how I mean, weather prediction gets better and better, but places like Japan, places like Canada, places like Spa, you never really know. And we are talking about minutes when is the rain coming. It's not like, oh, can I go, I don't know, sit outside this afternoon. Is it raining or not? No. Right. What tire do we put on in 2 minutes? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, and you've got a choice of intermediate, rain. So it's not as easy as it looks like, but in the end, the stupid move is always magic because, I mean, we always joke about it. Let's see if it rains. And you turn around and you do this.
Yeah.
Do certain teams have better, like, is that something, or does everyone have the same weather technology, or do certain teams have better weather technology?
Everybody has got the base of the same, which is paid by all the teams together. Some teams will have some additional one, but the information is all coming from the same place. It's not that there is different things out there. It's just how you make your radar map looking, and what you predict. It's a prediction in the end. When it rains, it's a fact, but before it's a prediction.
But do you have? I gotta think. Is there ways of like having scouts out in various points in different parts of the air? Like if I have unlimited, but we don't have. There's the budget cap, right? But in the days of the unlimited budget, like in IndyCar, but they have like the guys up top with the goggles with the
spotter.
the,
It's called the spotter. Right, the spotter.
The spotter. It's like, are there not, can Mercedes and Ferrari not afford a couple minimum wage guys or girls to go out into the fields around the track and say, hey, it's actually raining here. It's not just a dark cloud. It's actually raining.
People is doing that. In the old days, sometimes you had even a helicopter hovering around to see where it rains, because the helicopter can go everywhere and sending back. But in the end, it doesn't make the big difference, I mean, you always have somebody, I've got somebody in that turn and it's raining. Yeah, it's raining, but how much it is raining, is it going to continue to rain? It's one of these things. It's more like predicting. Once it's raining, it's a fact. You know what to do. But predicting, what is it going to do in 2 minutes when I'm on my fast lap? Nobody knows that. If you can make that work, I sell it for you, Brian. No worries.
In changing conditions, is that when you're in a race when it's changing conditions? Is that are you like stressed out, or are you like, oh, this is exciting?
No, you're more stressed out because if you get it right, it's the least you could do, and if you get it wrong, you're an idiot. So it's one of these things you just can. It's pretty pressure on it, and then you try to get information in of the weather of the driver, because in the end the driver needs to know when to change tires. You cannot. Knowing what is happening, you can tell him that is what other people are doing, because you always watch the opponents. You watch then if somebody changes tires, you watch his lap time, you watch his sector times, if he's improving or not, and you go with that one.
Well, sometimes you get it right and you get it wrong in the matter of minutes, which seems to be what happened with your old outfit this weekend. I always say, why do they never use the full wets? There's got to be conditions where it's better to be on the full wets than it is to be on the inters, and we saw this weekend,
your hire,
your two hires, Nico and K-Mag, throw on those wets, and we're just making their way through the field. And then, after all of that goodwill, where they have this amazing thing, they bring in K-Mag for the pit stop, and they're not ready. They're not ready.
What the fuck happened there?
I don't know. I'm not there anymore, guys. So don't blame me this time, because everybody else blames me.
Can you pretend that you were there? I guess my question is like, they know he's on the full wets. They know he's gonna come in. He's gonna have to come in because it's drying up like within the next couple of laps. Why were they surprised, you think?
I just can think, and I haven't spoken with anybody, that the message was not given to the mechanics. The message, okay, let's come in, talking in a small circle, let's come in, thinking that everybody knows. But nobody knew, and then when they told them, go and get the tires, or they said, go and get the tires, and the mechanics cannot decide which tires to put on, because there was a chance that you put the dries on as well, at some stage, so maybe they were not given the right information, because otherwise they would have been ready.
So you're saying it's a lack of... I've been told not to put words in your mouth, but you're saying it's a lack of leadership, is what you're saying.
I'm not saying of leadership, of giving information. Yeah.
Yes. From the top, But who gives the information?
Chief race engineer normally,
Okay.
What was your reaction when that happened?
Yeah, as someone who's just on the couch now,
I was like, what the fuck? You do all this hard work, and then all right,
It was the same.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same. It's the same 3 words,
Okay, but when he was charging up, how are you feeling?
I mean, I knew, obviously, with these tires, he did a good job, because he was fast. He was going for it. I mean, obviously, because he can go offline, because he has got wet tires, so he can overtake. Right, yeah. The other ones cannot go offline or anything. You cannot block him, because then you slid off. So he has got just 500 horsepower more. Right. But it's more like, when is the right time to come and change, that you keep the advantage, that he needed to change. It was quite obvious. And it's one of these things, you roll the dice, but then now with hindsight, which is a beautiful thing, as you all know, you should have said, okay, look what the Alpines did. They had a very conservative, a very traditional strategy. They finished up 2 cars in the points, and they started behind the Haases, So in the end, that worked out better.
But it seemed like with K-Mag especially, if they had nailed that pit stop, then he would have been able to score points this weekend.
Yes.
That if they had been on the ball, I think probably what happened, it seems like, is that they were expecting it to go full wets, then it's going to dry up, we'll put them on the slicks. And then because there was rain looming, and it was like, oh fuck, we actually need to go back on inters.
Yes.
They weren't ready for that option. So
Correct,
it was just like one step too far, and then chaos. It was such a, there's something so, what we love about Haas and what we've loved about Haas for years is that like some of these teams, it's just week in, week out, it's just the same result. There's just kind of like, with Sauber, with Williams, sometimes it's just like, there they are. With Haas, you get these spectacularly high highs.
Yes.
But then they're coupled with just the most brutal lows.
Spectacularly lows, yeah. I know them. I know all about them, I know all.
But it's what makes the team so fun to watch.
The Rockstar Vankah dichotomy is beautiful.
Is beautiful, which we'll get into because that's going to be one of our awards.
Do you think that is continuing now there, even if I left? So it's not my fault,
can we get into this now?
Yeah.
Was this a little vindicating? Because listen, apparently German media has been talking all about us. You sent us some German article we couldn't understand, but it's been translated. Ralf Schumacher heard what you said about his nephew on our podcast, and then I don't have it in front of me. I'll just paraphrase. He said, Guenther's just salty. Well, first he said, let's talk about this. Have you lost a job, Guenther, or has he lost a job? What's happening with German media? Because Ralf Schumacher has now gone and said that he's not going to do media with you anymore.
That's fine with me. I didn't do it with him before, so
yeah,
it's life. I mean, I'm all right. I can sit with you guys. I enjoy a lot more. We have much more fun with you than I have with him.
So Ralf Schumacher is not going to work with you anymore. I guess he said that Haas, that you're just salty, that Haas is doing better without you. Right? Have you heard this?
No, I don't really follow you. You're now into German media. It looks like, Matt. I mean,
Well, when they're talking about us, we read everything. We're narcissists, so if they're talking about us, we read it.
They're talking about us and our close personal friend Guenther.
Yeah.
So he basically said that you're just salty because Haas is doing way better without you, and that if Mick did get a chance at Alpine and really did a great job, then it would look like all of his failings were your fault.
Oh, whoa! There's a lot of accusations in one. I cannot breathe anymore. So no. So first of all, last year at this stage, Haas had more points than they have now. So we need to put the numbers right. The numbers always talk. Talk that shit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Did you not check that?
Not that you're keeping track. Not that you're keeping track, Guenther.
You are keeping track of the media. Of the German media. I keep track of what is happening. So there was more points last year at this time.
That's right.
And then I wish Mick to be in the Alpine next year. I will be happy, more than happy. I mean, it's like I was asked what I would be doing. I said I would get the best guy. You were present. I could. I didn't say anything bad or good about anybody. I just said that's what I would be doing. And I think I'm okay to say that. And as I always say, I can have an opinion. You don't need to share it, but don't hold it against me. I will still have my opinion.
I think we need to get Schumacher on the pod and have you guys just fucking duke it out.
No, I mean, I'm too calm. It doesn't do anything to me. I mean, I'm relaxed, So you just want to fight. You're as bad as him.
Yeah, we're Americans. You guys are prize fighters. We got to have it in Vegas. You've seen what the influencers are doing these days.
Yeah.
Jake Paul's fighting Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
You and Ralph in the ring.
I'm not going to fight.
You've got the length. I think we make it happen. No, it's beautiful to be making news with you.
But do you think? But let's talk about, because in college football, right? When a coach is fired and a new coach comes in and he wins, they say, "Oh, well, that was the last guy's recruiting class. Like he recruited all those kids," and you really can't evaluate new management until a couple of years. So I guess this new car that Haas has, how much of that would be considered under your jurisdiction? When can you actually evaluate the development under the new sort of management?
Next year's car, I mean, it's quite obvious, and I didn't want to go there because I had enough of Ralph, to be honest, but but to explain it, I mean, the car normally signed off. You start production of the car already in September, the year before, to make the chassis, and the chassis is the dominates what is going on with the concept of the car. So, and I always said this year, it isn't, I'm not pointing to me. It was also Simone Resta was there, which was the technical director. He's going to Mercedes. He starts later in the year. I don't know exactly when, but it's the product of that regime. And obviously, you still need to do a good job in running the car, You still need to do a good job, but it's like, so I could say, yeah, it's all there because they've got less points, but less points. I think the car in the beginning of the season is still quite competitive, but I don't know how long it will keep up. And for me, but it's not like I'm not bitter about it. I'm so happy to be here with you guys, that you have no idea. It's like, for me, it's just relief,
Yeah. Guenther, would you be saying this exact same thing if Haas was in the Sauber position and had 0 points? Would you have given a different answer?
Absolutely.
You'd have been like, Io's regime starts right now.
No. But people which work and not only work, which know F1 knows how it is. It is this. I mean, you need to take responsibility, and if you messed it up, you messed it up. What is bad to there? That was before a joke. I mean, obviously you would say then, but the execution of getting the car in the right window to run and all that good stuff is not done right. Yeah, but in the end, I would take the responsibility. No, I'm not shy of. I mean, if I do something wrong. That's it. Last year, what did I say? Half the season, we need to change concept of the car because with this concept, there is no development possible anymore. We are hitting a wall, and to get better, always in life, you need to admit if something is wrong, and then I'm fine with it, But as I said, without joking, I'm very happy where I am. As much as people think I'm not, or I'm very in a good place.
Well, there's so much development happening this season. These cars are changing week to week. In Monaco, Ferrari's topping the timing sheets. Yesterday they can't get out of Q2. Mercedes been nowhere most of this year, and then yesterday they're looking like one of the fastest cars on track. Do you think that this Mercedes development is a sign of things to come, or do you think this just was the right track at the right time? Do you think, because it seems like the last couple of years they haven't been really understanding their car, and then this was one of the first weekends in a long time that I can remember where it felt like Mercedes was actually on top of the car and not just wrestling with it?
I think this is happening because the cars are so close together now. So if you dial the car in, and especially the conditions in Canada, nobody could prepare better than anybody else. You had to do it almost there because it was raining, it was cold, new surface. Don't forget there was new surface of the track which nobody tested before. So you had a lot less information. So it was a lot the people which were there trying to get the best out of the car possible. But being this close together, 1 and 2 tenths make a difference. So I don't know if Mercedes can keep that trend up. It would be great. I mean, if you would have 4 cars which could win a race, not knowing who it is on a Friday morning, would be pretty cool. So hopefully they can keep it up. But I don't know. In the race they were good, but it was a little bit up and down in the race. The Mercedes, it wasn't the bullet, like it was in qualifying. So I don't know.
Where are you on George Russell these days?
I think he did a very good job this weekend. Obviously in the race there was a few mistakes and things, but how much is he on the edge with the car? As you said before, the car before that race was not the second or first or the fastest car out there.
Yeah.
So maybe he had to push harder than the other ones, and harder you push, easier it is to make mistakes. Obviously a F1 driver should be able to always push 100%, but nobody's perfect. Almost nobody, except you two, maybe. But anyway, so
us three.
I don't want to talk about myself. So.
We'll say it for you.
But on one hand, you have he's out qualifying Lewis consistently, right? That's on the positive side. But on the other side, he is making a lot of mistakes. So he's and it's hard to say, is he doing better because Mercedes is drifting towards him? Is Lewis checked out? People are saying Lewis is, maybe either doing setups, checked out, or maybe age is catching up to him. How do you cut through this and figuring out what's actually happening?
I think with George, as I said before, I think he's so much on the edge with the car, to do what he needs to do. So it's just easier to make mistakes. I think it's as simple as this one, and Lewis being the more he has won 7 championships. He says, I do the best I can, but I don't take any risk. And Lewis is known not to make many mistakes or make very few mistakes. He always tries, I think he always finds 99.9 very consistently. But that is, with the Mercedes he has got now, is not enough to beat somebody. So maybe George is going 100.1 and is sometimes a little bit over, So that's my assessment. But I think he's defending very well, I mean, the qualifying lap it was pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean,
You're speechless now. Yeah.
Well,
I just have like is he because it's like, is he the future? Really?
Well, it seems like our estimation of George a bit is that like George is wildly talented, and George is very devoted and very motivated. But it seems like when the pressure's on, he cracks.
He overdrives
the car, or he puts it on tilt. Like this is what happened in Singapore last year. He's like, he's got Lewis Hamilton sniffing his tail, and then all of a sudden he's in the wall. He doesn't even finish the race. This has just happened it happened, I think, in Canada last year or maybe the year before that he was trying to catch Lewis. He was trying to keep up in the pace, and then he throws it in the wall.
And his tire maintenance is not maybe as good as Lewis's is. Like he goes through his tires maybe a little bit faster. So I guess like now Lewis is going out the door. Is he really the number one at Mercedes? Can he
fill those shoes?
Can he fill those shoes?
I think he can, and otherwise I set him up with you 2 guys in Silverstone, and you can speak with him and give him a tuition so he makes it right, How about that?
That's right.
You just want to introduce us to all the people we talk shit about.
No, you try to help him by analyzing what he does wrong.
He'd love advice from us.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
see
we
it
could help
positive.
him.
Yeah. I'm sure
George,
he can, yeah.
George, you are enough.
You are enough, baby.
You are enough. You don't need to drive more than the car can go.
And you look, and your hair looks great. You're looking great today, George.
Yeah.
and Toto loves you. You're Toto's number one boy. I swear.
But that was another thing I wanted to ask you. Like, so Lewis is leaving. George is now thinking, I'm the favorite son. And then Toto goes and says, Kimi Antonelli is actually my favorite son, and he's the future of the Mercedes franchise, when George thought he was probably the future. Like, what do you think that does to a driver?
I think they can live with that. I don't think that does do anything. I mean, if you do a good job, somebody like George will find a job somewhere else. I mean, you can be the favorite, but the more you are the favorite somewhere else, look at Lewis. Whoever thought that Lewis was the chosen from Mercedes. Now he's the chosen from Ferrari. There is always a second life. I mean,
But you want to be chosen, right? I mean, don't the egos, having to work with the egos of these guys. Like, there's a feeling, they come up through the ranks and they're like dominating, they're winning. I think this is with a lot of sport. When you're coming up, you're the guy. You're the best player on every team that you've ever played on.
And you're doted on. Max is doted on. Leclerc for a while was doted. Now Lewis is coming in. Leclerc was doted on. Lando doted on. Lewis was doted on.
And then I think it seemed like when as Mercedes and Toto's eyes were wandering, Lewis said, "Hey, where else can I go where I'll be doted on?" So I think like when you think of like the psyche of these guys, I think that maybe you were in a slightly different position at Haas because you were you were getting the band together of people that were
maybe
journeymen,
grateful to be there.
To have a job, people to get a job,
yeah. But then also you have, it's interesting. We talked about Mick, or we talked about like Mazepin. Then you're dealing with like these younger guys who are still in more of that position. They're not in a Grosjean or a Magnussen or a Hülkenberg position where it's like, hey, I've been around the block. I'm here. You're dealing with a different psyche of a younger driver or a driver in that position, right?
Yeah, but turn it around. I mean, if you're George now, Kimi still has to prove that he can do it, because it's not as easy. Just because Toto says he's the next biggest thing in a Formula One, it doesn't mean he is. He still has to prove that one. That gives you an advantage because you know how good you are and how good you can be. So, and sometimes in life, somebody comes along who is better than you, and you need to live with that one. I mean, you need to deal with and. Obviously, it's difficult especially when you're younger, to live with that one, as you guys says, because you think you're now the greatest, and the guy everybody loves. And but I think they are all grown-ups, and for me, they need to deal with that one. If they got a problem with that, if they cannot stand the pressure that somebody it's coming along which will beat you. I mean, that's not good, because then you cannot perform as you should, because you're not free in your head.
But the very best team, Red Bull, seems to actively be behaving in a way that's like, Max is our guy and nobody else is the future but Max. Because, I mean, how else do you explain this fucking Sergio Perez thing to me, Guenther? You're supposed to be our insider.
Yeah.
Explain it to me.
After Monaco, they re-sign him. After that performance, they which is a bold move to re-sign him after that. Is it not? To announce it after a Monaco performance?
Why didn't they wait till he got a podium? Like, what it was? Can you explain that move? Why did they wait for him? He shat the bed in fucking Monaco and they're like, 2-year deal.
2 years.
Why aren't they like, hey, why don't we wait till he has he gets out of Q1? Can he get out of Q1?
Hopefully next race, yeah. I was as surprised as you, and if it wouldn't be me, I wouldn't add a lot to what you just said, because I was like, what the? I mean, it's like, and I like and respect Sergio, because I spoke a few times with him to coming to Haas, because he's just struggling. I think they are happy, as you say, and maybe Max said, I want Sergio, otherwise I don't stay. You never know if he hasn't got a clause in his contract.
Do those exist?
Oh yeah, but obviously they exist contracts that the number one driver, if you've got a number one driver status, that you can decide the number two or be part of it. That you cannot say my brother is driving the second car, but that that you have got the voice in it. And they get on, I think, and obviously also Sergio, as you said, I mean, he's just struggling, and because I mean the guy won races. The guy is not that he doesn't know what he's doing. The guy won races, and as you say now, I mean, he cannot get out of Q1, and when he gets out of Q1, he then crashes being in P17 fighting for P16. It's like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, that sent shockwaves through the Formula One world. I guess there's a question of, because especially now that, this Constructors' Championship right now is up for grabs.
Wide open.
And it seems like next year it's going to be even more up for grabs. So then you're bringing back Perez for 2 years, who right now it seems like is definitely not the best option to win the Constructors' Championship. Which then begs the question, does Red Bull actually care that much about the Constructors' Championship, where they place? Or are they just trying to hey, number one is that we want to win the Drivers' Championship. We want Max to win the driver. I mean, hey, in 2021, they lost the Constructors' Championship and no one gives a shit about that. It's that Max won that year. So is that I think for the bigger teams, is that kind of do you think that that's a consideration that we, who cares if we lose the Constructors' Championship? We want Max to be happy. We don't want Carlos Sainz in here challenging Max and maybe getting in the way of Max winning the WDC. So, hey, we'll bring in Perez. He brings in a ton of money for us. He's not, he'll still find ways to be on the podium this year. It'll be, ultimately, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for Max to be number one and for someone to, do that for us. You think that's in there?
No, I think they want to win the Constructors' Championship. That is always number one for a team to win it. But as you say, it will be more difficult. The only thing we don't know, are there clauses in Sergio's contract that if he doesn't perform, he's out again? I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys know everything, it looks like, so maybe you know. But
Well, I thought you knew everything when you said that you were pretty confident Carlos Sainz was not going to Williams and that James Vowles was just... But now those rumors seem stronger. Where are you on with that now?
I'm same position as before. Carlos said in the press conference, he said what he had to say, because everybody had him signed already, and he said, I haven't signed anywhere, and so I don't know where he's going. So let's get a little bit to the drivers' market.
Okay.
Where do you think? Because now a few seats are filled from last time, a few more are filled from last time we spoke.
Right.
Yeah.
So where do we think will it end up? Who is going to Mercedes? I just want an opinion, and I give you my one,
If I'm Toto, I'm putting Kimi Antonelli in the car. That's what I would do if I'm in that position. What I think is going to happen, I'm not sure. I don't know.
No. Guenther asked you a fucking question. You answer.
So what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
I think.
Don't avoid my questions. I never avoid them.
Yeah.
What I think is going to happen, I think he's going to throw Sainz in the car. I think he's going to try with Sainz.
he was pretty clear. He's not going to get Sainz, I got that message pretty clear out of Toto. So I think there could be a mix of, like maybe taking Bottas back for a year and then Kimi that year into Williams or something like this.
You think? I thought they'd just throw Kimi in there. He seems like the guy skipped F3.
And now he's beating Behrman, who seems to be locked in with Haas. That seems to be like that's what's going to happen there.
So, we think Behrman's at Haas, right? Kimi is at...
either Williams or Mercedes.
Williams at Mercedes. And then
it leaves Carlos to go to Sauber. Ultimately Audi, which seems to be the most likely thing. There's also there's this Alpine seat. It seems like they're going to keep Gasly. I think that they would want. I think it benefits them to have a French driver. They did team orders. with Ocon and Gasly in this last race. You know where their heart lies. They're saying we're not working with Ocon anymore. So
who's it? It's either that kid Doohan, or it's people are saying Zhou because there's like Chinese interests in Alpine.
Yeah, but Alpine will get. I mean, it's a works team. I think they will get the best driver possible. It's like. I think in the current status of F1, this is overrated who is bringing money or not, because everybody's doing pretty good, especially the big teams, with the budget cap. They know what they want. They want success.
Does Alpine want success, Guenther?
I'm sure.
The way they're chopping heads off?
There's nobody left soon, no? So.
It seems like people are saying it seems like American football or American basketball, like they're tanking, right? They're just kind of...
Yeah, they will get back. I mean, Luca De Meo came out last week saying the team is not for sale. He was pretty upset about that. He was sent a strong message to the world that the team is not for sale. I mean, there's always talk if somebody's struggling, especially a big car manufacturer, so because there's so many politics played in the big company, not in the F1 team, above the F1 team. So you never know what is happening, but he was quite adamant it's not for sale.
Do you think Flavio is going to...
what's Flavio doing in there?
What do you think? Think Flavio's going to be able to turn this ship around?
I don't think Flavio wants to come back. Flavio, last time he ran a team was 20 years ago, and Flavio knows that things have changed, and Flavio doesn't want a 24/7 job anymore. I mean, Flavio is pretty happy to be in Monaco, enjoying life.
So you're not buying these rumors that he's going in as a special advisor?
What does that mean,
Well, I don't know. What does it mean?
You tell us.
I don't know. First of all, advisor, what does it mean? And then if you're even special, what does that mean,
It means
like Haas never had special advisors.
He says no.
All right, so
who's going to be at Renault? I think the best driver available, if Yuki Tsunoda's off the market,
right.
He was re-signed.
Well, there's Sainz potentially. Right?
No, Sainz is not going to go there.
Maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, never say never. Nobody says it, but never say never. It was never mentioned. And if Renault can explain, for Carlos, the most important thing is where are we in 2026?
Right.
2025, he knows he can look at the cars and find the best option. There is not a good one out for him in the moment for 2025. Right. Sauber or Williams, will he be on the podium with one of them next year? You tell me.
But wouldn't you bet on Williams if you're thinking about it that way? Wouldn't you bet on Williams and the Mercedes engine over Sauber, over Audi and a new engine? Or isn't Audi running the Renault engine for straight up?
No.
Audi's coming with their own engine. So I guess my question is, if your calculus is 2026, then Audi seems like a bad idea, and Renault seems like a bad idea.
I think we assume it's a bad idea. We don't know, or I don't know what Audi is actually doing because they are not racing. So it's more like, who do you believe in their plans, what they're going to do for 2026? Because it's a sheer guess because you don't know if the Mercedes engine is good. How do you know that one? I mean, it could be.
You think that
you like to think. I mean, that
the
is
thought is that the last time it was an engine dependent.
It's not a fact.
Right.
We can think a lot. Everybody can think what he wants, but you do not know.
Where do you think Carlos is going?
I think he's going to Audi. That's my opinion. Carlos. I think, as you said, Haas is set with Behrman and Ocon. I don't really know what Renault is going to do, who they put in, but I think for sure they're speaking with Carlos as well. I'm pretty sure, and nobody mentions it. you know?
Right.
Because it's embarrassing.
It is. It might be embarrassing. If you have to go from Ferrari to Renault or Williams, it seems like Audi. At least there's at least the like prospect of maybe down the line this thing might be good. The question. Okay, wait. There's more on the driver line. There's more on the driver market. They re-signed Yuki. Still up in the air what's happening with Daniel Ricciardo. Daniel Ricciardo has a great qualifying, not so great race.
Okay race.
Okay, race.
Yes, yeah, okay.
But Yuki, who was behind him, was about to finish that race ahead of him before he spun out. But do you think there's a world where Daniel Ricciardo maybe is having a conversation with Alpine, or do you think they're maybe still bitter from what happened last time?
I think they're still a little bit bitter what happened last time. That's what I think. I mean, it was... I think for Danny going back to Renault, it's a little bit like, we divorced and now we're back together a little bit after a few years.
That's his whole thing.
Yeah.
He's back in the Red Bull family. Yeah. That's part of the deal.
But that divorce was not as bad as the Renault one, yeah.
Definitely. Do you think Danny re-signs with Visa Cash App or he retires?
I think if he doesn't resign with Visa Cash App, he retires, yeah.
What do you think his odds are now?
I would say in the moment... 60-40 that he stays.
Okay.
Wait a moment. We could ask Jacques Villeneuve what he says to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the vibe of him? I mean, he's out. He seems to be the Ralph Schumacher of Canada.
Yeah.
He's out here just talking shit.
I shouldn't have brought this one up, to be honest.
Have you ever had any run-ins with him?
With Jacques? Oh, yeah, Jacques has got those. I mean, but Jacques always speaks with you and he tries to explain what he says. I mean, right. I get on actually with Jacques. I mean, obviously it was a strong opinion and he didn't let go of the opinion. That was surprised me, He kept on it, So it's Jacques, That is how we know Jacques. Everybody knows Jacques. But Jacques would not avoid you or he would come and speak to you, He would look for you. I mean, it's like, I liked also Danny's answer.
Yeah.
It's like, but we all know Jacques, so it's not as bad.
Has he ever hammered you bad?
Not badly, but in the end, never forget, Jacques was a world champion.
Yeah.
You get a lot of credit for that in life if you win a Formula One world championship, Not that you get that you are smart or anything else, but you got some credit, That gives you credit,
Yeah.
Wait, but there's also implications there with Liam Lawson, right? Liam Lawson's there waiting in the wings.
Yeah.
There comes a question of like how long does he wait? I think that he is loyal to Red Bull, but there is a certain point.
But where's he going to go?
Maybe Alpine.
Maybe Alpine, maybe Williams. I mean, with Albon was a Red Bull driver and he ended up at Williams and then now he's out of the Red Bull camp, but he was for a long time a Red Bull driver and Red Bull had no seat for him. So he got into Williams and somehow got the way out. I mean, as you say, Liam Lawson, when he was in the car last year, he did a very good job in my opinion,
Okay, Guenther, Carlos Sainz goes to Audi. He's off the market. You are in charge of Alpine. You are in charge. I've just hired you. I am CEO, and I have hired you. It is your job, buddy. This is not a question. This is
and I'm a works team. I've got the money.
I got the money. Who are you hiring? Don't avoid me.
I'm not avoiding
it's not Mick Schumacher from last time.
Yeah.
Who are you? You said the best driver available. Carlos Sainz off the market. Who is the best driver?
Yuki Tsunoda's off the market.
Yuki Tsunoda's off the market.
Who you getting?
Who you getting?
I would speak. I mean, I wouldn't say, because I would need to speak with people because it's the same like, God damn it. Yeah. It's not as easy. You all think it's this easy to be a team principal, I would go and speak with Bottas. I would go and speak with Danny Rick. And I would go and speak with Lawson. Maybe Lawson is said, you cannot get him because, as you said before, he's a Red Bull driver. You cannot get him. So obviously, maybe he's off the list. So you're left with these two guys. And then, obviously, I don't know all the things Mick Doohan has done because Mick Doohan is doing a lot of driving for them. I mean, obviously, he didn't do a lot of driving in FP1 in Canada because it was raining like hell. But he's doing a lot of driving. So they will have some good data of him, how good he actually is in the car, which I don't have, So you need to look into that one as well, because why would you invest in a guy for such a long time and then not give him the opportunity when he comes along, you know. I mean, when Romain Grosjean had his accident in Bahrain, we put Pietro Fittipaldi in. That was the guy, we supported him, he knew the car. Let's get him in. And you could do the same with Mick Doohan, you know. So you still didn't get an answer, you know.
That was
good enough.
Passable.
Thank you.
That was passable.
Thank you.
That was Q2.
Enough,
it was a Q2 answer, not a Q3 answer.
Just,
now,
you know, yes.
So, when Red Bull re-signs Perez and they're maybe going to keep, let's say they keep Daniel Ricciardo, what does that say about their junior program and how, like, if I'm a junior driver? That's my first part of the question. Second part of the question is, let's say your daughter is a driver, right? She's of the age, she gets approached by every single junior driver program. They all want her. Who are you at this point in time? You know, Mercedes, McLaren, maybe Alpine, Red Bull. You're saying Haas has junior drivers too.
What's the best program?
Who are you? Because it's like, is Greta signing with Red Bull, considering how they don't promote anybody anymore? McLaren seems pretty blocked up. I mean, who do you go with?
I think you go with who helps you to get along in your career. If you do a good job, you need to do it yourself to get in a seat. You need to be good enough to do it yourself. And I think, obviously, now it's opportunity. As we said here, if Danny gets his seat, if Checo gets his seat, I don't think in 2 years they will be re-signed. I don't know, but in 2 years, so there is opportunity there. So you look at that one as well. McLaren, obviously, they have got two very young drivers, which are very good. I don't think they need a driver in the next 3 or 4 years. So you look a little bit more like this, a little bit more analytical than emotionally about it. Sometimes you don't have a choice.
Everybody wants.
I would go with the Mercedes program. As you said,
really?
they always brought through their people, you know. Not everybody, but a lot of them, you know.
Yeah.
But in the end, you need to be good enough to be put in the car. Or you need to make the results and then tell the people which decide that you are good enough as well, you know.
But if you're Liam Lawson, right, and he's done that, right? He's checked all those boxes. He's had a great showing last year where he was arguably on the level of not beating Yuki Tsunoda, had a better showing in those races than Yuki Tsunoda. Now Yuki Tsunoda's out here beating up on Daniel Ricciardo in many ways. He's there waiting for that seat. It seems to not be coming. Like, in terms of the strategy that he's thinking of, like, what, you know, how long do I stay here, or do I, you know, take my sights and my talents elsewhere? I mean, that's what ultimately, you know, Carlos Sainz was. I mean, he was actually in Toro Rosso, but he said, "Hey, the future's not here with me at Red Bull. I'm getting out of here. I'm going other places." Same thing happened with Albon. You know, at what point does Liam Lawson pull that trigger?
I think he's talking to other people and talking to Red Bull. But it's because it's good for Red Bull as well. If they can get him in a race seat, they get him ready when they need him back. But it's difficult to find another seat if you are not staying with the team, because no other team wants to train a Red Bull guy and then giving him back after a year or two. So there is always, but I'm sure there is talks going on to get him in a car next year.
Yeah.
You know, as we said before. So maybe he ends up in a Williams. Maybe he ends up in an Alpine. We don't know. But for sure, these conversations are going on because Red Bull knows how good he is. He knows how good he is. He wants to race. Red Bull is better he races than sitting around waiting that somebody gets hurt. So I think there's for sure there are talks going on.
Here's a question also shifting a little bit. At what point, you know, sometimes, you know, this happened last year with De Vries. It usually happens from the Red Bull side of things. But at what point, there was talk of it happening earlier, at what point does Williams maybe pull the plug on Mr. Logan Sargeant this year? Because this was another race, you know, he's out here, he crashes, unassisted, just throws. I know it's changing conditions, but it doesn't
He's a Formula One driver.
He's a Formula One driver.
He was he almost caused a safety car the first time. Were you like, I was so happy, Guenther, when he crashed the first time, because I was like, oh my God, Magnussen will get a cheap pit and he'll be able to switch. And then he didn't succeed in causing the safety car. And then it was like, let me try that again. Let me try that again.
And then he caused the safety car at the worst time, where it actually screwed over someone other than Max being able to win the race. At what point do they pull the plug on Mr. Logan Sargeant over there?
I think end of the year.
You think they wait it out?
Why are they waiting it out?
Why not you know, cut him early? Get Kimi in there. Get someone, you know, why not?
What do you got to lose?
I don't know how the contract is phrased. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there which we don't know.
Speculate wildly. Speculate wildly.
First of all, you always try to work with the people you have got. You know, you need to show in a team that you try to do the best. Obviously, at some stage, enough is enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, why are we doing this? You know, I think it will go to the end, but I think if there's got a few more like this before the summer break, after the summer break, maybe there's somebody else in that cockpit. And I think it will go all together who is going to drive the car next year.
Does it like when you're in a back marker team and you're like fucking up the race? Like, I mean, people talk about Latifi. I mean, he was racing Mick Schumacher. I mean, your team was directly responsible for the Abu Dhabi 2021 debacle. I mean, do you kind of feel like an asshole a little bit? Like, oh my God, we're racing in the back and we're like fucking up this entire race.
No, you just feel like an asshole because you're in the back, not because you're fucking up a race. You know, you don't really care about the other ones. You know, you just feel
you don't care that you were co-responsible for ruining Lewis's.
If I stay with you another few minutes, I'm responsible for everything which goes wrong here. You know, in Formula One. Let's continue like this. You know, I keep on digging. You know, my hole here with you two guys.
No, because it's like, you know, James Vallis, why do you keep bringing this guy around who keeps fucking up the race?
Yeah, but he brought some spice into the race. You know, all of a sudden we start from
but not the right kind of spice. I wanted
Today
him to,
was the wrong. Yesterday was the wrong spice.
Everybody's
almost
got
brought the right
different
spice.
taste. That's depend on the taste, you know.
Right.
You like one
Okay.
spice, see, you know. Do not think you're the only one which watch F1, you know. Don't get ahead of yourself, you know. You're almost like an F1 driver, you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's all about me, you know.
Well,
Yeah.
well, we're two guys, and we're with you, so we feel like K-Mag and Grosjean.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to not.
okay, so which one of us is K-Mag?
Yeah.
And which one of us is Grosjean? So wait a minute. So I guess the second safety car happens, and
Yeah.
we're sitting on our couch. You're sitting on your couch. You're watching the TV, and you see Logan getting out of the fucking car, and you're like, why aren't they calling the safety car? Why are they waiting? And it seems like why do you think they took such a fucking long time? Because I feel like if they'd called it earlier, Lando might have had a chance to get in. And I feel like this dilly-dallying reluctance to call a safety car is really affecting the quality of these races.
Yeah, but you see that one after the consequences, you know. But I don't know why they took so long. I don't know that one. That is the race director's decision, nobody else's, you know. So he can decide. So maybe he sees something, or he hopes on something, or he knows something. The three of us don't know that he thought there is something could be done to avoid the safety car, because he's not happy to call the safety car. He wants to avoid them, the safety car.
I guess there seems to be like sometimes. Like with the rain thing, sometimes there's just like, I saw that and I'm a dumb fan, right?
Did you
but
not do
I saw that and I say...
Did you not do that?
Yeah, I did this and I said, I saw it and I go, that's a safety car. But then it's 2 minutes until they call it. And by that point, it kind of, it did mess with ultimately with the results of the race.
Yeah.
There are human beings which make the decisions. It's the same decision when, what was it in one of the FP sessions when Leclerc went out on, was it qualifying or FP? I don't remember. Went out on the race. It was raining, but the race was not declared wet. It's like, dude, I mean, what's happening here? You know, it's like, and he gets a penalty of 5,000 euros because he went out. The race was dry, but it was raining. So, I mean, can you blame them? Somebody obviously forgot to do something. I mean, it cannot be because it's raining. Guys, it is raining, you know. It isn't. It is not gonna rain. It is actually raining, but it's a dry race. I don't know. Right. I never had that one. So again, and you can say, is he wrong? Is he right? It's always good to sit on the armchair and critique, but obviously he will be sitting there now. I said, oh, he's the same opinion as we three. I should have called the safety car earlier, but at the time he didn't make the decision. It's like, it's life.
All right. We're going to move into some fan questions.
Do we have some fans?
We do. Oh, we've got fans.
Yeah.
We have a fan account.
We have a fan account for this show specifically.
Okay.
This is from Tom Andrew Heath. If Guenther could have any two drivers on or off the grid for a new team, who would he pick? unlimited budget. You're starting a team you're starting a team this week. Who are your two drivers?
Don't disappoint.
Max and Lando Norris.
Ooh.
I like that.
Who's your team principal?
Me.
No. Your CEO. Who's your CEO?
I'm the chairman and CEO. So yeah.
So who's your team principal?
Daughter.
Oh.
And who's your engineer? Who's your technical director?
Adrian Newey. I don't know if he wants to do it.
You can get him full time.
That's what I just say. I don't know if I can get him or not.
No, this is dream world. This is dreams.
This is dreams. Yeah. Adrian or Pierre from Red Bull. Pierre.
Okay, that's
Pierre
a question. How do we know? Because I feel like there's always arguments. Pierre is actually the guy because Newey's, he's kind of a part timer now, and Wache is actually the.
It's a team. You need both of them. One on its own. Adrian couldn't do what is done there without Pierre. Pierre couldn't do without Adrian. It's a team. You guys always want one.
No, but
team.
Fuck
it's
that.
more than
fuck
one.
That.
Yeah. Wait a moment. Tom Brady on his own, without the other people around, would he have won this much as he won? No.
He won at Tampa without the Patriots, without Belichick.
Yeah, but he was not on his own.
Okay, but the Belichick and Brady argument was decisively changed. No, but fuck that argument, Guenther, because here's the thing. When you're at a team, and you're looking to steal someone else and hire someone else, you're not saying, "Oh, it's a team." You're trying to pick out who the gems are.
But
how do you do that?
You pick the gem, and then the gem will bring little gems with him. Because people look up to it and say, I want to work with this guy. This guy is successful. This one can give me success as well. So I raise my value as well, because I'm winning. I mean, it's the same as we said, in any football soccer team. If you've got a very good player there, the other one wants to come as well to play with him, to be part of the success. Yeah.
When Braun left after Ferrari, he brought his Braun crew. That's what he did. Yeah. Okay, wait, let's keep it going. Who's your head of strategy?
Who never gets it wrong, or Red Bull rarely gets it wrong.
If you had to choose any pit crew from the current, if you had to steal an entire pit crew,
Red Bull,
yeah, they are the best ones. I mean, they're so good. I mean,
but McLaren all of a sudden,
yeah. But again, success breeds success. You're successful. Everybody puts that little bit more effort into it and get better. Everything just clicks.
Unless K-Mag is on a flyer, then they just manage to fuck it up.
They fuck it up, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Vankahs, before we get into this next segment, we wanted to let you know that we have a new sponsor, babies. Cash App. We've been obsessed with the Cash App brand, and now we're even more obsessed because they're making this episode that you're watching or listening to right now possible. Thank you, Cash App. We love you as much as we love Danny Rick and Yuki Tsunoda, which is
a lot.
More than what's all the power in all the universe. So we love you that much, babies. Okay, now back to the show. Who are your Rockstar and Vankahs of the week?
Well, let's discuss this a little bit. So of the week, I went straight to the Vankah of the week.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start
who's your Vankah of the week?
I think that one is a pretty obvious one this weekend.
Logan Sargeant?
Logan Sargeant?
No, I mean you cannot beat him up or
All
continue.
right.
Yeah, exactly. Come on,
how about the
Ferraris? The guy putting on the slicks, not having his engine.
How about Checo, Perez?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
you get a 2-year contract. You qualify. What did you qualify? 18th. And you crash in the race, trying to go from 17 to 16.
Yep.
That's pretty.
I think to beat that one is difficult, huh?
That's pretty solid. That's
a pretty
solid logic.
Again, that's not personal. Checo, if you hear it, don't get upset. But,
This is of the week.
It's just of the week. Hey, next week he can be Rockstar.
Correct, yeah. Yeah,
that's right. Okay, well, that I think fair, solid logic.
I think you didn't do your research there, guys.
I forgot about Checo.
This race was so chaotic.
Oh
this so chaotic.
Good excuses again.
There were so many bad things that happened.
Oh, don't come with me with excuses, Guenther. Oh, I haven't seen the contract. There's so much we don't know. Their jobs are very hard.
That's explanations. That's not excuses. That's explanations.
Said like someone who was given excuses. Okay, Rockstar of the week.
There is actually 3 which did a very good job because it's of the week. It's George Russell, what do you think about that?
Yeah, he's not a rock star. He could have won that race, but he cracked under pressure like 5 times.
He continued to fuck up. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he did. He almost was. He was the rock star of Saturday, Mr. Saturday.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then,
that's what I was thinking. To go on pole with that car is pretty cool. Yeah, but on Sunday he wasn't there.
Sunday.
He didn't.
What do we think of Kevin Magnussen for those first couple of laps?
That was pretty rock star.
But then it's rockstar of the segment.
Not his fault. Not his fault.
Yeah, not my fault. One this time. So keep me out of it, Matt.
Right. It was a lack of leadership.
Exactly, absolutely.
In my opinion, lack of leadership.
So I don't get a lawsuit, or anything like this, So,
right.
I've got enough of them going on, by the way. So I don't need another one.
All right, you said 3. You said you got Russell. Who else were you thinking?
Norris and Max. Obviously, the 3 first ones. I mean, come on,
podium,
you genius,
bold opinions.
So you ripped already George in pieces for me, All right, right. I give you that one. So we need to decide between Max and. But if we give it to Max, he was too much of a rock star. So it's just like being a little bit boring, But then maybe he deserves it.
It's probably Lando because he could have won that race.
Max at the same time as George in qualifying, so he was as good as him.
Yeah,
and he won the race.
He
must be him then, yeah. He did win the race. And he did that very cleverly, without making mistakes.
Yep. In a time where everyone's kind of like, all the vultures are circling. They're circling Red Bull. They're just trying to get in there to pick them off.
So we got the Rockstar and the Vankah from the same team.
There we go. Yeah.
Damn.
From the same team.
How many times will that happen? Yeah, sometimes it can happen.
Sometimes it be like that.
Max makes Vankahs out of a lot of people.
He does.
He can do that.
A lot of people think they're rock stars, and they get on the tee with Max Verstappen, and they leave a couple of fucking Vankahs. Vankahs. Not only does Cash App sponsor our favorite perfectly branded Formula One team, but they also make it easier for you to save money so you can do the things you love, like going to an F1 race. Listen, to be honest, we thought that Cash App was just a way to send people money, but it's also a faster and simpler way to bank. Streamline that. You can start saving with as little as $1. No hidden fees, no minimum balance requirements, no account fees, which we know that people need. I needed that. I need that right now.
Yeah. I needed that a couple years ago.
And we know that overdraft fees make no sense. Why are you charging someone if they don't have any money? Plus, when you deposit $300 or more in paychecks, you get up to $50 in free overdraft coverage. So Cash App has got your back. It pays to get paid on Cash App. So go download the app today. Now back to the show.
What was the point of the team orders, you think, at Alpine? Just to be dicks?
So it was too dangerous to let him buy again. Because then it would have put Hülkenberg in a position to get him as well. Because the car in front you need to slow down quite a bit. And if Hülkenberg was so closed up to Ocon at the time, so if he would have the slipstream, he would have gone past Gasly as well. And maybe
you sound like? Guenther? You sound like the team. You sound like the CEO of Alpine. You're really justifying this petty fucking behavior of punishing Ocon.
I try just to explain something, and I cannot get it right.
It's a very good explanation.
Yeah, exactly.
Excuse. I mean,
Ocon thought this. I think he took it like that.
I think Ocon took it very well.
And by the way, if it would have happened the other way around, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, exactly. All right, these 2026 regs, they've come out. You've got these new cars. No DRS, the big headline. The cars are smaller, big headline. There's other things that are getting in there. What are your first impressions on the 2026 regs?
I think very difficult to get the weight target. It will be difficult, but not impossible, I think. But it's actually a good thing because the weight is the easiest way to find performance, getting to the weight limit. It's not easy to get there, but it's something very clear. Aerodynamics you can develop and you never know really what you got. Weight is weight, The physics there are very simplistic, If you're on the weight limit or less you weigh, better you are. So if somebody starts up being a little bit overweight, he can work on reducing the weight and go quicker. But in general, I think the cars making them a little bit smaller is no problem. Giving them what is it? A third less downforce, I think it was. They said that we start
whatever
off with,
you say.
Yeah, whatever they say. It's the FIA. it's the people up there,
Yeah,
so, that's right.
Okay, now, but I guess my question is, were you hoping that it was? Because I guess a lot of the common feedback was people wished that the weight was less. right? They set the weight even lower, so these cars could get even lighter because the cars are lighter, but not so much lighter that it's going to be maybe a game changer.
I mean, with batteries, you cannot do that. You guys know that. Even if you're not engineers, batteries are heavy. And if you've got more electrical power for your power source, you need batteries.
What did you think of the getting rid of DRS?
I think it's a combination of, to have this active aerodynamics for, again, back to batteries and electric motors. So you have got enough charge around the lap, and you not have to slow down, or you not have to clip or charge the battery on the straights. You need to get rid of drag, and I think by doing that one, you cannot have an additional DRS. So the DRS is replaced by a overtake mode in the engine. I think it was, that what was said. I think they had a press conference, and then they had some clarifications afterwards. It's difficult to keep up because I think some of the things are not 100% clear yet.
Right.
But I guess I feel like, they have charging in F1 currently. They have like battery that they can deploy or dump or charge. And that always seems very opaque, very hard to understand or not communicated. Like as a viewer watching at home, DRS, we know. Oh, he's within a second. Here's the DRS zone. It's going to happen. Like we can keep up with DRS. Whereas this like energy thing form of is that that's a concern that I have.
I think it will be pretty clear when you use this overtake button. It's a little bit like in other race series. You have overtake button, which is nothing else than a DRS. You just have 20 horsepower more.
Right.
To say a number, I don't know if it is 20, if it is 30, I have no idea what it will be. But obviously, I think it's also, because you're watching now F1 since a few years, you just got used to something and you don't want to lose this. You're getting into this, this is I know, I don't want to change it. Sometimes there is change coming and you get used to it and it is as good as before. So I think we need to give it a chance and get a clear understanding what actually is done, or what will be done in the future.
No, I'm just scared because, I know without DRS, nothing ever happens.
We just want to make sure that they're still overtaking and that we're not stuck in a pre-DRS kind of, era where there's not exciting shit happening on the track. How they get to it, I don't care.
Exactly. I mean, but we need to give the people credit that the V3 understand the table.
Right.
That was sarcastic, by the way.
Why do I have to give them credit? They thought that their first regulation that we started watching, it was impossible to follow. Then they did the underfloor change to make it easier to follow. It's maybe a little easier, but they haven't nailed it. Do you have any faith that this next generation is going to fix it?
The following, no. A car with wings on will have always. It will be always difficult to follow. I mean, nobody can change the physics. I mean,
why don't they get rid of the fucking wings then?
Because then you have no downforce. Then they are that slow around the racetrack.
I don't think it's as much about. It's like how close they can follow is one thing. It's whether the cars are within, a close range to each other, because. Like in terms of that one team, it's about like how close the field is.
Yeah, but if you get close and you can't pass, that's not fun either. And I think the way that happens is you just make the regs longer, and then because now they're converging.
Right. You just make more.
Yeah, make them longer.
You make them last longer. But think about the Mercedes era. It took 8 years for the other teams to catch up.
Correct, and then. 3 months ago, it was said, we need new regs because nobody can catch up. Nobody can converge to be as fast as Red Bull. And now they caught up. Now we want to stay it. If, nobody can see the future. I don't know anybody who can see the future, what is happening. So whatever you do, there is a risk that it goes wrong. But sometimes it's like everybody says, it's no point because in 2025, Red Bull will be dominating anyway again. So who cares? Just look at the new regulation. 2 races later. Yeah. Red Bull has to fight to win and lost some of the races.
Guenther, it seems to me like it's from my limited experience. I don't know if you've had this same experience, but for me, it seems like you're dying for new regs, and then by the time the regs are like about to hit us, we're like, wait a minute, no, let's keep these regs. It's actually getting good, and then they throw it all out.
No, that is you. That's not me. I'm not for that. I'm just explaining the scenarios. I'm saying
Now that everybody's caught up, I'm like, let's get rid of these
2026. Let's do this in 2029, 2030. Let's
just keep these
like
regs so they can just fight.
But you just said a good thing before. How long did Mercedes dominate?
Right. Yeah.
So
7, 8 years.
if now Red Bull in the next 5 races comes back and, there's something magic to his car, nobody understands what it is, they keep on dominating until 2029 because you just moved the new regs to 2029.
Then I'll change my opinion, Guenther.
Yeah, our opinions are lightly held.
Yes. I'll just go on and say I've always been saying.
I had a teacher in college who said, hold on tightly, let go lightly.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll do with those opinions. All right. Okay. Next episode will be after Spain. Spain's the next track. You last episode said that you thought the McLarens would be strong in Canada. You were right. You were right about that. What do you think's happening in Barcelona?
I think the Red Bulls will be strong in Barcelona.
Okay. Yeah, they're going back to tracks. They're going back to purpose-built tracks. It's going to be less bumpy.
Yeah.
Maybe. Do you think maybe it's like a max by 10 plus seconds win?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's nodding his head. He's nodding his head and grunting. Okay, so I guess this is another question I've been thinking about, of course, because I'm in my I thought of it.
You're a thinker, yeah, thinker.
Yeah.
You're a
so,
thinker.
And you're going to be blown away by this. It's such a great question. When you go to Spain as a team principal, what's like keeping you up at night about Spain specifically?
Everybody's good there normally. There is very little surprise in Spain because people have been testing so much in Spain. Everybody knows that racetrack so well. There is very, very rarely a big surprise happens there because everybody gets prepared so well. I mean, it's less now than 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago that you go there, but normally a lot of testing is done there. People have got so much data. There's just normally, if you're good on Friday, you will be good on Saturday and Sunday. There's nothing.
So everyone's on top of their shit in Spain.
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that your house is in order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be on top of your shit, So.
Okay. That's an interesting kind of like testing ground as to like see where the teams are at. How well oiled are their machines,
correct, yeah.
Both figuratively and literally. All right. Well, I think that just about does it. This has been Vankah Hours, episode 3. Next episode will be coming after Spain, Barcelona. Vankahs, until next time.
Goodbye, Vankahs.
Bye-bye, wankers.
Yeah.